Hello there, Mr. 411. How's it going?
Man, it's going, man. Today's a great day, Zach. How
Yes,
about
it
yourself,
is.
man?
You just said it. Today is a great day.
Man, Ice Cube can't had today was a good day, but we're gonna remix it and say today is a great day.
Yes.
Yes, sir. October the 18th, 2022, Sports Brothers, Zach and Mr. 411. Today we're gonna talk about week 6 of the NFL. We'll get back. We'll have some of the people from last week that'll come back to recap the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles matchup. But we have some other key matchups that Zach and I are gonna talk about and unpack for everyone, and should be a good show.
Yes, it should. It will be a great show, not a good show.
That's right. That's right. Because today is a great day.
Yes, it is.
Sports Brothers, here we go.
And we're back.
That's right. We back. The beat goes hard,
Yes, it
hard in the
does.
paint.
Yes, it does.
All right, everybody, please do the following.
Favorite part of the show. And it never
It
gets
is.
old. And we appreciate all of you that view the show and that subscribe. Keep it coming.
Hey man, keep sweat.
Just what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it though. I didn't know how many
You
people out
remember
there
that
get the
jam?
reference. Yes, I do.
That's it. Keep it coming, girl. I want
Uh,
it.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't get us started. But yeah, man, it's not 1991 anymore. It's 2022 NFL Week 6. The madness continues, Zach. Again, welcome everybody to the show. We're going to jump right into the action of Sunday. Man, it was a ton of action. It was a lot of intriguing matchups. And so, man, we have to get to it. So, Zach,
Yes, sir.
in the words of KRS-One, let me begin. Let's start with some just we'll go with Monday, all right? That was the game that was played Monday night. The Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers. Your boy at quarterback, he threw a lot of passes but no touchdowns. Herbert and my boy Russell Wilson had a blazing start. He was like 9 for 9 with 9 different receivers to kick the game off, and but then the second half just 15 yards. So we'll start there with the Monday night game. I know you have some things you may want to say about Justin Herbert.
Well, I'll just go with the obvious thing that I talk to our buddy Rob about all the time. I hate kickoffs or kick returns in football. I don't know why teams return the ball because only bad stuff happens. And people probably think I'm over exaggerating, but think about it. Whenever a kick return, like on a kick return, if you just take a fair catch, you get the ball at the 25-yard line. How many times do people really get past the 25? How much does that help you depending on how good your offense is? And many times where you see a flag and you know it's a hole, block in the back, something. And then go punt return. It kind of same thing. How many times do they really break it for more than 10 yards? And depending on who you are, say the Chiefs, if you want to go Chargers or whatever, if you're a team that has a quarterback that is well established, are those 10, 15 yards you might get worth your quarterback not getting the ball or getting the offense backed up? And what happened, like, I'm jumping to the end, but what happened last night for the Broncos? Worst case, you're about to tie the game because you could have probably ran clock off or whatever. And instead, because you're trying to return the kick, even if you just field it and don't have anybody get back just to block it, like you field it so you don't lose any yards. You have the ball, and instead your blocker gets pushed back into your return man. Not a penalty per The referees yesterday, you fumble the ball, Chargers get it, and kick to win the game. So that's like the obvious. I think the other thing is, what was it? Herbert threw 57 passes, and supposedly, first time in NFL history, someone has had 57 pass attempts, does not throw for a touchdown, and wins the game. That is, the Chargers have to get a lot better. Denver needs to be feel ashamed that they lost this game. And I think you kind of said it correctly. Denver's offense, or you're talking about Wilson, just what started off 10 for 10 in the first quarter, first half, and just anemic after that. And I'm old enough to remember people said this was going to be a Super Bowl contending team, and these weapons were better than the weapons that Seattle had. And I can't blame the Denver. Like, the defense for Denver has to be getting frustrated because you're making teams score these low point totals. Like, technically in this NFL, anything less than 20 points, I think everybody would say you got an excellent defense because the offense is set up to score now. And the Broncos keep getting these type of games where, hey, we held a team to 9 points for regular. I'm sorry, for the regular 4 quarters of a game. Get to overtime, you got to kick a field goal to beat us. We're throwing interceptions. We're having special teams gaffes. I'm not sure what the Broncos could be, but maybe 5-1 if they didn't have all this stuff going on. Tied for, I'm sorry, not tied for first. Probably have the lead in your division. So it wasn't really a great looking game. And as far as Justin Herbert, I know he's still missing Keenan McCardle. Damn, I said Keenan McCardle. I'm
That's a
way
throwback.
off. I'm sorry. It's number one wide out. Lord Jesus, this is a throwback.
Keenan Allen, yeah, I
Yes,
know
Keenan
you.
Look, I'm thinking the Jacksonville Jaguars. But does Herbert look impressive? And I guess we're going to use the ribs as the excuse possible, but he doesn't look very impressive right now. Like, everybody that says he's next, they got the win. Good for them. But that's not a game last night that they should have got the win. So, yeah, I know people complain about the Thursday night game. Last night, I think would be a tale of two overhyped QBs. And I have seen all the fussing about. I was around some kind of out last night around some of the Broncos fans or people that were Broncos fans. They want to return Russell Wilson to sender. I mean,
Wow.
very upset, frustrated. I was like, so yeah, it's the Russell Wilson thing is a actual thing now, and it looks like I'm going to say this every week. Your Seattle Seahawks, Jennifer Seattle Seahawks, other people Seattle Seahawks. They traded him a year too early instead of a year too late. Good for them. And they didn't give him. They got the best of Russell Wilson for whatever if he was a market share or if he was if he was something that you were buying a stock. They bought it at the right time. I'm sorry, bought low, maximized the stock, and then sold high. And I didn't realize they got 10 players in a trade or something for Russell Wilson. Or I thought I heard them say that last night on the broadcast.
Wow.
But that can't. I thought I heard that wrong though.
Well, like in Vegas, man, Denver pushed all the chips to the front, man. It was like, hey, we're going to get Wilson, and he's going to be the difference maker. We have everything else in place. You mentioned earlier the defense is playing well.
Yes.
And the receivers are supposed to be good with Judy and so on and so forth, and the running game. So the only thing was missing was to have that quarterback. So that play caller, and he was supposed to be that difference. Right now is not the case, man. But at some point we have to say, hey, the the filling out process is over. You know what I mean? You had a whole off season,
Yes,
and all that good stuff. So this is supposed to be a win now situation, but we'll have to leave it at that right now. And Denver, you got to turn around before it's absolutely too late because we're heading into week 7. Yes,
Correct.
that. All right. A quick shout out. We'd like to give a shout out to Blackjack TV. That is www.blackjacktv.net for the simulcast.
Thank you, Blackjack.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna put a couple more scores up on the board, Zach. All right. Let's take a look at that Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants, man. Um, I didn't pick this one. I picked the Ravens to win this game, but man, 20-24 defeat of the Giants. The Giants are on a roll. They're 5-1. But did you catch the end of that game, man? Did you catch the end where Lamar Jackson just made a horrible decision late in that game? You're
I
up and you panic off the fumble, and then you roll out and you just throw one up. You just chuck it up there. Those are the kind of plays that will keep an organization from not wanting to write that big check. World of a talent, but we have to be fair. And those type of decisions, those type of plays, that's a victory right there. You know what I mean? At least you're in the lead and you can play it out. You basically gave the Giants field position for a go ahead touchdown. So I just want to get your take on that too, Zach. Did you see that?
Unfortunately, I did, and I'm someone that is, I'm pulling for Lamar Jackson. He has,
Yes.
and we've talked. He has things as a, the quarterback stuff. If you want to go like the passing part of his game, I think he needs to, work on that right there. I'll be nice and say he didn't panic. I'm gonna go that he was trying to make a play, and maybe he was trying too hard. And sometimes the best play to make. I thought, what game? It was one of the college games. I was talking to Rob about it. I forget the kid that it was. Not the Alabama game. I'll think of it, but the no USC game. Caleb Williams.
Okay.
And we talked about it. Talked about it a little Sunday. He just sometimes the best play is just to throw the ball away and punt. And let your defense do what they need to do. And that's what Lamar should have done in that situation. And after that game right there, I said Lamar Jackson on yesterday, he and his mama should have called in and took the deal that the Ravens have for him. Because as much as I like him betting on himself, and I don't think he has the greatest weapons in the world, it's like you said, this business is about results. Like you either have results or you don't have results. Right now, I'm sorry, you either have excuses or you have results. Right now, there's a whole bunch of, if you want to go excuses in the Lamar Jackson camp instead of the results. And at some point, you got to get W's. Because why am I going to pay you a large amount of money, going back to Russell Wilson, so we can, win 6-7 games and not make the playoffs? I can do that without paying you 40-50 million dollars a year. And you know who's on the other side, and I've given this guy a hard time for a long time. Your little cousin, Daniel Jones. And somehow, some way, the Giants are 5-1. So I don't know if it's Harbaugh and maybe you need a new voice to help the organization. Maybe they've gotten stagnant because of him, or Lamar's play style, whatever it is. What is this? At least 2 games this season, because he had the interception against Buffalo in the back of the end zone that you could have tied the game. I'm sorry, you could have took the lead in the game, but your coach went for it, put the ball in your hand, trusting you, and a lot of this trusting you ain't working out for Baltimore. And well, I was just going to add that once again, your little cousin is on the other side. That is, come on, we can't be losing to your little cousin in a game when we're trying to get $50 million a year.
Yeah. And if it was year 1, year 2, that's understandable. Because you're just coming out of the college game, you're superior athlete, you're superior over most of the talent. You can make a way out of no way. But in the NFL or any professional level, once you go from the amateurs to the professional ranks, that window shrinks. Those opportunities shrinks. Then that's when you go back to, like you said, it's best to throw it away, play for another day. in those type of situations, you would think that that's where he would be uh, at this stage of his career right now. It's not to say that he's not one of the best players in the league, but if you're going to be the quarterback of the team, the face of the team, you're making the decisions, and that decision, that type of decision, cost a victory. And the way the league is shaping out, I mean, that could be the difference in being in the playoffs or being home, for the holiday season. So, we have to we have to just address that. We address the good, and we got to adjust the bad. And by the way, I pretty much have them on any possible fantasy team I can pick up, so I do like them.
I mean,
But
yes, you do, and he has done you well this season.
well, yeah, but we have to be real, and that's what we do, Zach. And we say that about anybody. Me. I say what I said about Russell Wilson when he was with the Seahawks. So, we
You
we
did.
we call it like we see it. All right,
Hey,
so let's get.
well, just one quick thing in comparison,
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
I give him a hard time all the time. Our friend Lacey, her team,
Yeah,
Zach Wilson, the Jets end up beating the Packers, which we'll talk about, but he didn't throw any touchdowns, but he didn't have any turnovers. Like, he's not giving you great numbers, but at least he's not necessarily doing the killer thing that takes you out of position to win. And
yeah.
sometimes that's all you need at the quarterback. Like, just don't kill me. Give us a chance.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's a good segue. We're gonna slide over to that direction anyway. Um, we'll go over that way with the Jets, Jets and the Giants actually. So we'll talk about both of Lacey's teams. And get well, Lacey. Get well
Oh,
soon. No, we know you want to be here, but you gotta do what you need to do so you can be back for the rest of the shows. But teams that have not lost an away game yet, the Eagles, Jets, and Giants. So that's huge for those three teams. And then the other two New York teams, if you take a look at these two gentlemen here, the last time both the Giants and the Jets had winning records through 6 games, this is what Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones looked like. So it's been a while.
I, has been. And I want to give the Jets credit once again. Remember, what was the first game of the season? Robert Saleh, and
Yeah,
everybody was talking, and I kind of thought it would be the same old, same old. And he said he was taking receipts, or they were taking receipts, and everybody kind of laughed at that. It looks
absolutely.
looks like he was taking receipts. So good. I
Yeah,
mean, good for him. This
yeah.
is, to me, they've already exceeded my expectations, but uh, they can mess around, maybe have a winning record.
Yeah, they're at least on track. And speaking of the Jets, we could talk about them. They went into Lambeau, defeated the Packers, and so we can take care of both things at once. Zach, we'll talk about the Jets and the Packers. And right here, the Packers, are they in danger of missing the playoffs?
Yes, like, yes, very apparent. You lost to the Giants and the Jets. Those were games that you probably thought were supposed to be victories. I want to say they still have to play Buffalo. Like, they still have some other games on their schedules from teams that would be considered better than the Giants and Jets. And look, I hate to say this, Minnesota, outside of quarterback, is a better talented team than the Packers, and you're giving them a lot of cushion now. Now, the good thing I think is the NFC isn't as good from, I guess, top to bottom. I'm sorry, like from say 1 through 7 of the teams that we thought would make the playoffs. Like, some teams aren't as good, but they put themselves in the mix where they got to dig out of this hole. But even if they do get dig out of it, Aaron Rodgers is in that LeBron category, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later on a different show with the Lakers. It's championship or bust, like or at least make the Super Bowl. Who would bet money that the Packers are going to make the Super Bowl right now at this moment? And it's a long season, but I it's kind of a wash. I they are they feel like they have some type of dysfunctionality, and maybe they should have done like the Seahawks have done. And I want to say we talked about this one time, that once they didn't make the playoffs last year, and you kind of had that meltdown that you had, maybe it was time to move off of Aaron Rodgers and get rid of some of that noise that's in the organization, because there always seems to be noise around Aaron, and it seems to have benefited Seattle that they don't have to deal with the noise like they used to. And there's something off with Green Bay, whatever that may be, outside of just Devontae Adams not being there.
Yeah. To me, it's more so, it's just like anybody over time, it catches up with you. Aaron Rodgers is at that stage where he's still an excellent quarterback. He still has the mystique and everything, but at some point, you're not quite as good as you used to be. And I haven't seen where Green Bay has tried to make any type of adjustment into moving forward. Maybe with drafting Love, that's what they had in mind. But I'm not sure how they have been working to develop the quarterback behind Rodgers. And also, why didn't they try to work on trying to change up how they play? Like maybe less of Rodgers, more of Rodgers handing the ball off, more of Rodgers doing just the little things and using the veteran things that he can do versus just trying to carry the load. And at some point, I think that's the direction they should have went. If you kind of think about when Tampa Bay had picked up Brady, Brady was excellent, but there was a lot of a lot of co-stars in place that helped that lead to a championship. Starting with getting Fournette, and having a big target like Gronk come there, things like that. So that's where I think Green Bay is going off to the side right now, and losing at home to the Jets. Not saying that the Jets are, it's a bad thing, but the Jets are still a team that's young,
No,
and so for
that's probably one in the column that you counted as a dub, and
yeah,
like
that's a win.
they're professional teams, but when you went into the season, you counted that in the Giants as a
Correct.
dub.
Yeah, that should be a win at home. And it seems like the Jets were the team that played more like a veteran team than Green Bay. And so,
Yep.
that's another sign. You got to take a look at that. Always look at the signs. It'll tell you, right there in front of you. So yeah, Green Bay, they are in danger because then the Vikings, they're 5-1 right now. They're winning a lot of games, they're leading the division. And that's always the gateway to the playoffs is to win your division at least. And then, of course, we'll talk about some of those NFC teams. Philly Red Zone, he's here. He's knocking on the door. So he'll be here to really talk about those Eagles in a minute. But, you have three teams in that one division that looks like they may qualify for the postseason. And so that may be a one division playoff team in the NFC North. And so, yes, the Packers are in danger at this point.
Well, I would put the Packers in the Broncos category of, like, you keep expecting the quarterbacks to get it turned around with their offenses, or maybe in Green Bay's case, get it turned around with the team because the defense isn't playing. Like, at least the Broncos defense is playing well, but as I said, we're running out of games. We basically almost a third through the season because everybody's played 6 games mostly, and you still ain't figured it out yet. So once we get 2 more games in and we at that second quarter poll, you got 9 games left to say maybe go on a 7-2, 8-1 run or something. Like, because even a 6-3, depending on how big of a hole you put yourself in, might not be good enough to get you in the playoffs. Because what would we say? In both leagues, that you probably want to win 11 games to feel safe to make the playoff, but you definitely probably have to win 10 to get in either league, most likely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to get some W's, and you can't give away home games either. That hurts more than anything.
Agreed.
All right, let's look at another matchup on here, Zach. I'll let you pick it.
Well, of course, we should probably talk about the Chiefs Bills, along with the one boy that I figured we'll talk about. Ain't got to worry about that one, but Chiefs Bills, and the Bills probably feel good about this victory and all this stuff. I'm concerned about the Bills, and I think I've said this the past couple of weeks. They have turnovers, be it Josh Allen or however they turn the ball over. and they are just so loose with the football sometimes. Whereas, like Kansas City, I feel like they went into that game. They were missing some defensive backs, and the Bills had to do everything they could to pull that game out, and they did. And it, a victory. You want to get the victory. It shouldn't be any complaints there. But it just seemed I would have thought that the Bills would have won by double digits. That it would have been easier, especially when you're playing against a Chiefs defense that I don't think anybody believes is like the '85 Bears. And instead, they were only able to score 24 points. Like but I guess even if you want to go more importantly, they held the Chiefs to 20 points. Why didn't your offense go out there and put up more points? Because I believe the Bills had all their pieces, and that's the big thing. Now I'll give both defenses credit. Both defenses stepped up, but what I'm going to look at with Kansas City is kind of what we were talking about with Denver and the Packers. I think Kansas City is still figuring this thing out. They're going to get better as the season goes along because they're trying to learn how to play without Tyreek Hill, where they get that favorable coverage. I'm not sure you get that with, I'm not sure you're getting that with, but to me, the Bills should have done more, dominated this game, more like what a team did in their marquee matchup that they had at home. And I know the Bills were on the road, but that's what I was expecting. Unfair or not, I was not impressed by this victory for the Bills.
Well, the one thing that I took from this matchup, Zach, and after that we'll answer the one more question about this matchup, is that Josh Allen. If you remember back into the Miami game when he threw that pass late in the ground, remember late in the game he threw a pass into the ground as an open receiver, under pressure. At least in this game, I mean, the Chiefs were applying a lot of pressure. They did a lot of blitzing in this game, and Josh Allen defeated the blitz. And case in point, he defeated the blitz to win the game Sunday. And so that should be a great sign if you're a Bills fan to see that Allen was able to handle that situation. I tell you what, man, they look like they should be going to the Super Bowl. Of course, I think they're going to meet the Chiefs again at some point. And that runs it back to this real quick, Zach. Do you think that both of these teams will beat in the AFC Championship?
I'm going to say no. As I said, the Bills can't run the ball either, and I'll go with I'm the old school guy. I'm gonna be like Bill Polian was about Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna fall in that traditional thing of I think you need to be able to run the ball a little bit once you get to playoff type football. And all I'll do is look at baseball. 3 100 win teams, the Mets, Braves, Dodgers, all eliminated in part because pitching did not do what it was supposed to do. Like they had the great regular season, the rosters was good for that, but once they got to the postseason, some of those core things like pitching didn't show up. The Bills are going to get in my mind, put in critical situations somewhere in the playoffs, and look, I'm saying that they're going to be the 1 seed more likely and only have to win a home game. So I guess I'm saying they're going to lose a home game and not make it, but I can see it. So if you're asking me to bet that, I'll bet that they will be the team that won't be there, unfortunately.
Okay, well, we'll definitely see. There's a player out there that I think can help resolve that situation, and that's McCaffrey. There's a lot of talk going on out there that McCaffrey may be available. Of course, Carolina will be smart about it, but the Bills are one of those teams that was mentioned. The Rams as well. I think that if I'm Buffalo, I may push the chips in and acquire McCaffrey because he also helps not in just the run game, but in the passing game as well. And that might be the resolution because they have everything else, in my opinion. They have the defense. They have good weapons at receivers. Even the tight end position looks nice. Quarterback is versatile. Kind of reminds me of a Cam Newton type quarterback. And I think having a safety valve at running back that can catch those short passes out the backfield in McCaffrey will be a bonus. Do you think McCaffrey will be moved from Carolina? And if so, where you think he may land?
It, he should be moved. So I'll go with should be. I'm not. A lot of that will come down to what is their asking price for him, and that is the sticking point. But Carolina's going nowhere. They need to get draft picks and try to get maybe even developmental players for the future so they can um, reset this offense. I'm sorry, reset this organization. Uh, Buffalo should get him. I hadn't thought about that, but you bring it up. It makes perfect sense. Now, he's not a necessary great between the tackles guy, but he would at least give them maybe some semblance of a running game. And you put him and Allen together if they wanted to. Well, they like running Allen. So now we're looking at the RPO game, things of that nature. It would be good for them. Now, Baltimore, they don't have many weapons. And I know they have a running back and everything, but would he help Baltimore? Like,
Yeah,
don't
he
they?
would.
I mean, they have Mark Andrews, but give Lamar Jackson something of a playmaker if you're not going to get him a wide receiver.
Now that would be a great option as well too. That would actually fit well because for years the Ravens tend to have these musical chairs at the running back position. They bring out 3-4 backs a season, can't really get one, so they can resolve all that by picking up McCaffrey too. So that's another good landing spot, Zach.
But I'll go with what you said first. The Bills, they have nothing to lose. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. Anything they can do to increase their chances to do that, they should just go ahead and go all in on. Kind of like the Rams did last year.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And back on the other side, we'll come back and we will talk the Cowboys at Eagles. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Latanya. I'm the owner of Heavily Spa Mobile. I've been in this business 19 years plus. If you're in dire need of a massage for achy muscles, back, neck, shoulder, hip, legs, feet, come on down and schedule an appointment with me. You can't go wrong. There's nothing wrong with taking care of you because no one's going to be able to take care of you. I'm located at 2484 Ingleside Avenue, and that's in Building 8, and that's in Macon, Georgia. Again, you can go online to Heavily Spa Mobile to schedule your future appointment, or you can reach out to me at 478-747-9231. I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. All right. We think Heavily Spa Mobile. Well, relaxation is the key. All right. Let's talk Cowboys and Eagles. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little feedback, gentlemen.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How you doing?
Right, and yourself? Hey, Zach, Mr.
Doing
411.
well.
What's happening?
What's going on, Jerry?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Forgive me for no actual video. We had to bring my daughter to
Hey,
so I'm at
No problem.
hey, Randy, you got anything you can mute for me?
Can y'all hear me? I was getting that feedback as well. I don't know if it's my phone or not. I don't know why it would be mine.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the car quiet.
Okay. It might be something playing back. Oh, no problem. We'll work through everything.
All right.
Where do you want me to go from?
Well, I mean, I'll go.
Hey, if you would, before you, I'm gonna let y'all have before you get into it. Hey, I want to say the MVP for the Eagles is Howie Roseman. He has done a great job acquiring talent, and I still have questions about Jalen Hurts, but I think the Eagles have the best team in football. Like they have a team that can win the Super Bowl. Their two corners, if they get matched up, say against Buffalo, they get matched up against Kansas City. them corners are gonna give individuals problems. They could handle both of those teams. So um, they have a really complete roster. So Philly Red Zone, you should be very happy. Y'all got a great shot. Now, I'll just say that when y'all play Dallas again, the game may look a little bit different when Dak is out there if they can get some better quarterback play. But y'all forced their quarterback to do what he did, and I'll let y'all take over and have it now.
Well, I think you should let me go first because I got a few things that you may want to comment on them. So if you ask me, and you're right, first off, good job to Philly on the win. So like I said, I'm not a Philly hater. I'm actually a Philly fan, but never before the Cowboys. Saying all of that too is that in my opinion, I think last week I said that Philly got to prove themselves. I don't get the feeling that they really proved themselves this game, that they are who we think they are. But like if we look at Kansas City and Buffalo, right? We don't put Philly in that category yet. We would say, nah, I can't really put them up there with them. And I'm still in that space with Philly. If I had to say, if I look at the overall winner, and not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, but I think the Cowboys actually won that game. And what I mean by that, not in score and stuff like that, is that Philly had that early lead, right? And most of it was because of what we did. Cowboys, we turned the ball over and things that we did. So Philly did what they were supposed to do, is capitalize on that. Now, no knock at them for that. So those were points that I would say that they wasn't necessarily just that they just earned. They beat us. Is what we didn't do, what we didn't capitalize as a team. So, but from that point on, you go to the second quarter. Well, it's pretty much okay. Well, Dallas scored a field goal, I think, or a touchdown or whatever it was. And then it going to the second half, if you really look at it, Dallas pretty much won the second half. And the other thing was we had a backup quarterback, and there's no excuse for anything. But for him to be able to perform the way he did to keep us in that game, and not only that, what helped us was that Zeke finally arrived. Our running game appeared. So Zeke looked somewhat like the Zeke of old. So that helped us, and that's another win and a plus for us because our receiving core hadn't quite came together, and our receivers did make some tough catch. There were some throws that were overthrown or some missed opportunities. But I think Dallas won, if I had to look at it. And I don't think Philly quite proved themselves. And I think had they came out, got that 21-point lead, came back out of the second half, got another 17 points or so, and just dominated Dallas, then I could say, okay, yeah, Philly's for real right now. But it's still hard for me to say. But like I said, I'm not hating on them. They won the game. Good job to them. But I would say if I had to pick someone, Dallas is the overall winner out of that because we didn't lose anything when it came to the quarterback. Our starting quarterback wasn't in everybody in harm's way. And what I mean by that, no one is talking about him saying, oh, they should have let Cooper Rush in instead of playing Dak. No, he's not going to get hit with all of that. So now he can take over without having all the darts thrown at him. One thing I want to mention too, then I'm going to shut up, is you mentioned about the kicker. One thing I loved about the kicker that was for Philly is that if you notice, he gave God the glory in everything that he did. So for me, just for that and just being a man of faith, a man of God, to be able to still be on national TV, to be able to say that, it's almost hard just to even just worship God and just to say praise God these days without someone coming at you saying you offended them. So I applaud him in his faith, and I think just based on that, he was able to play through those injuries due to his faith.
And,
All right.
and Jerry, I hear everything you're saying, Jerry. Until they lost Lane Johnson, that offensive line for Philadelphia is serious. I like
Thank
that.
you.
I like Dallas defense. Dallas has a real defense. Like with no doubt, they was getting hit in the mouth and they was giving up 3, 4, 5 yards of carry. As I said, my only question is Jalen Hurts. If they get behind by say 14 points, can he throw them back in it? But that offensive line will hit you in the mouth. That defense will hit you in the mouth. And that pick that Bradbury caused when he jumped in front of the wide receiver, tipped it up in there, them corners are serious. Like they got a team. And they may not be put in the Chiefs and Bills category because of Hurts. They got a real team. And then their backup is Garner Minshew. So if Hurts got hurt, they could still go out there and perform anyway. Philly's good. Like Philly is good. Like they can be in the Super Bowl.
I think Philly quarterback situation probably is a little bit like Dallas, even though Minshew is a little bit more mobile than Cooper Rush is. But I agree with everything you said. Had he not got hurt, but what that did was allow for people to see that Jalen Hurts, if the pressure came, that he was vulnerable. Now he could take off. What you got to keep, you got to keep a linebacker there or keep someone there in the middle because he'll take off and run up the middle. But when that rush came, you could see the difference in it, and it made a difference. So for me, that's why I said they hadn't shown me. And I know Dallas got if not the best defense out there. That's a lot to handle, but it did expose him a little bit, as you were kind of alluding to. And yes, losing their offensive player hurt them a lot. So yeah.
I'm gonna jump in, man.
Yes, go ahead. Take it away. It's your day.
First of all, it was a great game. Eagles have a history of starting out fast, and they jump on teams, and then they, kind of take their foot off the gas. Like when we talked last week, I told you everybody is being put on notice. The Eagles is a real team. I understand what you're saying about, if they would have put on, additional 20 points or whatever. Football have ebbs and flows. Every game, if you look at the margin of victory, I think only 2 games was well over 10 to 14 points. But the majority of the games was within 9 points or less. And that's just the NFL. Teams are going to go on runs. Players are going to be lackadaisical. Coaches going to pull out plays that no one's seen. When y'all went to that tight end little button hook or whatever where he was blocking down and then released, that was something that y'all never showed. In all 4 or 5 of y'all games. So that caught the defense off guard because they sold out to stop the run and force Cooper Rush. So that was good game planning on y'all side. So y'all got away with it. Y'all scored on it. Y'all capitalized like any good team should. But the defense stepped up and shut it down and closed the game out with a pick. So for you to say that the Eagles is not real, they're 6-0. They're the only undefeated team in the league. So to me, I understand the Bills and the Chiefs. They have all this firepower, but I watched that game. The ball's being turned over. Mahomes is holding the ball, looking for the cheetah. The cheetah's not there no more. Allen, he's a turnover machine. He'll throw the ball if Diggs have 5 people on him. He's just going to release the ball. And as far as the Cowboys go, to say that if Dak was there, it would have been different. That's BS. Because at the same time, that defense is there, and and if you notice, all the cornerbacks, they was running the receivers' routes for them. That's why they got picks. That's why that ball was deflected in the air. They were beating the receivers to the spot, and that's not something that Cooper Rush can control. Y'all was hyped when y'all got Gallup back. My God, when my analysis said you put Bradbury on Lamb, you put Slay on Gallup, and you seen what happened. Sell out, stop the run. yeah, y'all got your yards. Zeke looked good, but Zeke started clipping us when we went from that 5-man front. But when we went back to that 5-man front, we shut down that run. So, I mean, it was a good game. At the end of the day, y'all lost. Y'all got to understand that it's not just one player coming back that's going to change y'all issues. Y'all defense have real issues. Yeah, y'all can sack the quarterback, but we showed the blueprint on how to beat that pressure. You use Michael Parsons' aggressiveness against them, and you get your receivers out in space and put him in coverage, which he's not good at. Not saying he'll never be good at that, but right now he's not. So that, I mean, that's, if you look at the game, the way it played out basically the way I already saw it, and hey, the better team won, and we'll see y'all Christmas Eve. Hopefully that game means something, but I'm being sarcastic. I hope it don't. So we already have everything pretty much wrapped up by then.
Well, let me say something right quick. I don't know if I said it or not, so if I did, I apologize. I don't mean to say, because I'm definitely a Philly fan and I'm pulling for them, right? But I'm never pulling for them against the Cowboys. But inside of me, you got that little nervous twitch, like, man, I want them to be like, if the Cowboys going to lose to somebody, then Philly I'm good with, right? So I don't even feel bad with the loss, but, it's like I still don't have that thing. Like, I know they're real, but it's like I still got this little nervous, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like I just ain't sold out for them yet. I just ain't I'm like, man, put anybody up against them, they're going to do that. And we all know they're professional. Hell, they can lose to the Jaguars next week. You never know about football. But it doesn't, that's the only thing I'm trying to say is that I just ain't got that where I'm like, man, I'm just like, man, they just smash mouth. They just did. And they ain't got to be there. They're getting the job done, like you said. They're at the end of the day, they're getting the wins, and that's what counts. And for me, like I said, I know they're real. I guess I just, man, I don't know how to put it. I guess I just.
I know they turned it around too fast for y'all. Y'all had 2 years of glory. I know, I understand.
Well, what I like about the Eagles is what I don't like about the Bills. Like I said, the Bills to me can't run the ball. Like when they get to playoff football, I don't feel like they're built for playoff football. The Eagles, I think what the Eagles do, they'll probably be the 1 seed, or at least they're shooting for that. So they'll get to play at home. But even if they had to play on the road, their offensive line is go travel.
It travels.
Them corners,
yes, sir.
Like them corners, if they don't get injured, they travel. And look, I'll give my guy to Georgia credit. Big Jordan Davis.
Oh yeah, he a dog.
He travels and he helps them.
Literally,
like they don't have to. They don't have to depend on. I shouldn't say they don't have to depend on Hurts. They don't need Hurts to be like Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen. They just need him to do his job, and they put him in position to do his job. Add in AJ Brown as a good receiver, making Smith a nice 2. They are well put together. Now, Jerry, here's the good thing for you, and Philly Red Zone ain't being honest here. The Cowboys are going to see them again in the NFC Championship game. That's the NFC Championship. Them are the 2 best teams in the NFC.
Yes.
As long as Dak comes back and doesn't screw this thing up, and he can just play a better version of Cooper Rush.
Well,
that's the NFC Championship game to me.
Yep, I surely agree. And like I said, I don't think all Dak got to do is just make the throw. That offer a little more threat to be able to run, to be able to move. But I think the key for Dallas right now is to keep Zeke and keep Pollard, especially Zeke. He got to just keep running. We got to get at least 90 yards out of him a game. We got to average that.
You understand when Dak come back, Colin Moore loved to throw the ball. And he's going to put that ball up 50 times.
I get that.
Don't do that. Hopefully they stick kind of with the blueprint they've had. But you're right, Phil. I fear they may want to throw the ball 40, 50 damn times a game.
But we
Yep.
and the thing is, we don't have the receivers. CeeDee Lamb should have been the I mean, he made a couple of few catches here and there, but he should have been the star. He should have been everything in that game.
No,
He
But
couldn't get open. He couldn't get open. Bradbury and Slade ran his routes for him. Cooper Rush had to come off of him super quick.
And you're right, but being the caliber player that they claim that he is, then those guys, he should still been the man. Winning 88. Oh, you got to find a way to get open. I don't care who you are.
Hey, you know, Mr. Forward, you talk about watching all 22, them two corners. Like you be trying to play like I was good back in the day, and I wasn't bad. Them jokers is very good as a team.
Hey, that's key. That is key to have great corners like that, along with strong front line.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Harry Roseman has done an excellent job building that roster. And
then the one other thing is, let's not forget when you said about the running game. The Eagles had 2 drives where they held the ball for damn near 8 minutes, running the ball down Dallas' throat.
Yeah,
Dallas defense, and Jerry, I'm gonna clue you in on something. Dallas defense is good at sacking the quarterback. That's what they're good at. But if you get them in a run set where the lineman is going downhill, the Dallas line is small. Those guards, those tackles, they pull, they get on Lawrence. Lawrence is on his last leg. Y'all need to go ahead and get rid of him. But that middle of that line, I looked at the all 22, and there was holes you could drive a pickup, a F-150 through. Yeah. You know, because those guys was getting pushed off the ball. The safeties are too small. You know, when they was trying to tackle A.J. Brown, they looked like little kids and he was just shrugging them off.
Well, A.J. Brown is a huge wide receiver.
I understand. Hey, man.
he ain't the average wide receiver.
Oh, man, I know.
You got Philly Red Zone feeling good, Zach.
Oh, man, look, I'm just saying. I'm just looking at everything as a whole. I understand what you're saying about the NFC Championship game. And personally, I have a rule. I don't like to see another team 3 times. 2 times is good enough for me because the 3rd time is not always the charm. But if Dallas was to see like a Minnesota in that divisional round, I think Dalvin Cook giving them problems.
Nope.
Yeah.
Especially not Kirk Cousins. That pass rush. That pass rush.
Hey,
you notice I said Dalvin Cook, not Kirk.
Yeah. But Kirk Cousins got to get it to Dalvin. He got to get it over there. That's but
you know, at the end of the day, you know, the running game is the bread and butter for the Eagles. That it travels. When if you go back and look at all the games, when the teams start coming back, they did this in Arizona, 8-minute drive, score. They did it again against Dallas, another 8-minute drive. Now this time we got the touchdown versus a field goal where we was holding our breath. I'm sitting on the end of my couch, nervous as hell, thinking Kyler was gonna come back. You know, but this week I was able to sit back and say, all right, as soon as Smith caught that ball, I said, all right, it's over. Because you looked at the clock, timeouts burnt out, and y'all basically playing, you know, pickup ball.
Hey, guys.
Trying to hurry up and do something. So,
hey, gentlemen.
But it was a fun game.
We got about 6 minutes left, and I just want to pose a quick question. And this is for Jerry and for Philly Red Zone. And Zach, you can break the tie. All right. Which team between the Eagles and the Cowboys have the best fan base?
Well, we already know the answer to that. That's America's team. Cowboys. He can't say nothing about that. Cowboys is number 1 in everything, in sales, just everything. The fans. Look around the country. You ain't seeing that much green and silver or whatever. It's blue and silver that you're seeing around here.
Well, the Cowboys is the equivalent to the Yankees. It's kind of the go-to team. I'm all about organic. Philadelphia Eagles is an organic organization. You got generations that show up, you know, tailgate, raise their kids out at tailgates. You know, when my kids came out the womb, they was birthed into an Eagles jersey, and I can show you the pictures of all my kids in them. You know, and it's just a homegrown. I mean, that town. I don't know if y'all been to Philly. I know Mr. 411 have, but that town is a college environment for pro teams where you get 70, 80,000 strong in the stadium, not even counting the parking lot, for every single sport in that town. And we live and die our pro teams. The 2017 team that won that Super Bowl, the 2017 that won that World Series, anybody that won a championship in that city never have to pay for a meal a day in their life, because we know who they are. We know all their stats. Whether we loved you or hate you, you are Eagles, Sixer, Flyer, or Philly. And that's
Any
how
rebuttal.
I've been to Philly. And the best thing coming out of Philly is the Flyers. They're the most consistent thing. And then that organic stuff he's talking about.
You don't believe that.
That's what everybody in second place say. We're organic. Go ahead and admit Cowboys is the best and the number one team. I had this argument all the time. The number one team in the country and on the lose.
All right.
That was on TV back in the 80s, man.
All right. Awesome, guys. All right. Well, Philly Red Zone, we appreciate you, Jerry.
I appreciate you guys, man.
We appreciate y'all.
Hey, don't worry.
We definitely appreciate you guys being on.
Times in this. Hey, I think they'll have 2 more times to do this against you.
Oh yeah.
I think in the playoffs they'll be playing each other, but I think NFC Championship game they'll see each other.
Hey, I'll be ready.
All right.
All right, man, gentlemen. Y'all have a good evening, man.
All right. We're about to wrap it up. All right. And get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because coming up at 7:45 is the NBA 2022-20/23 preview. Well, we will talk about some players from Dallas, and we'll talk about a couple players from Philly. So stay tuned for that. You'll see Zach, Rod, and Mr. 411. And on Sunday, 9:30 a.m., the coach no one's talking about. So tune in Sunday, 9:30 a.m. for Triple Option. You don't want to miss that one as well. Closing statement, Zach.
Philadelphia's in a great position to win make it to the Super Bowl. And I really like too bad we don't have Calvin on here. I like how their team is constructed. They're strong on the lines and they're strong in the on their corners, which is kind of a good place to be strong at in the NFL right now.
Exactly.
And Saturday and Sunday were great days of football with college and then transitioning to the NFL. So I had a really good weekend.
All right. Way to sum it up for us, Zach. All right. Well, I'll see you in a few.
Yes, sir.
And over in the other studio, we'll meet up with Rod.
Yep. And look, I can't wait. Look, if we get a little further in the season, we'll have Mr. 411 Senior on to talk about the Eagles. But Eagles and Cowboys should both be satisfied after the game. So their fan base, nobody needs to go panic right now. They just need to. We'll see what round 2 is like against these guys.
Absolutely. All right. Well, he's Zach. I'm Mr. 411. We are the Sports Brothers. We thank you for watching and listening and tuning in and hitting that like, subscribe, and hitting the notification buttons.
Yes,
but for now,
thank you.
We're out. Have a good one.
Thank you.